This is the Cubs POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Chicago Cubs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Locked On Cubs POSTCAST here on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. My name is Joe George, and the Cubs win in extras 2-1 over the Padres. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $250 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. What a strange win, but way to pull out for the Cubs in this game. There's so much to talk about from this game. With the guys left on base, the bullpen performance, the errors that happened, the clutch hit from Nico. So much to get into. We'll react to your comments as well in the chat because people are, as Cubs 0209 says, people are hyped, as you should be. That was a fun win. Gus Bus says lucky win, terrible defense and hitting. Bullpen wins us the game for once. Yeah, the bullpen, let's start there. I mean, after yesterday's disastrous performance, you needed this one for all of us just to feel better. Obviously, there was like 15 moves today with the Cubs, from Shaw going down and guys getting put on the IL and pitchers coming back and guys in the minor league starting rehab assignments. So much happened around the Cubs before this game even started today. But after yesterday's performance, obviously everyone's feeling very stressed out about the bullpen. And what makes Cubs fans feel better is than what you saw today. Porter Hodge, nasty, of course, not a surprise. Definitely the best bullpen pitcher on the Cubs right now. He gives up one hit, but he gets out of his inning. Ryan Pressly gets a strikeout, gets out of the inning, no problem. And that gets the Cubs to the 10th inning, where you've got the man for man on second base, and Caleb Thielbar is the guy that comes into the game. No confidence, to be honest. Like, nothing against Caleb here, but like no confidence that the Cubs are going to win this game with him on the mound, knowing that Fernando Tatis Jr. is guaranteed an at-bat in this inning, and he gets it done. You know, they get the stolen third base there, so you got a runner at third. He gets the 2-0 count to Tatis. You walk him, and you bring up a guy who's arguably the best pure hitter in baseball in Luis Arraez. He doesn't have power. He doesn't hit doubles. He just hits singles and hits close to 300, 350 every year, it feels like. And they get him to pop out to Ian Happ, and the Cubs win this game. So phenomenal performance from the bullpen, especially because you should have got 6 innings out of Shota today, but you only got 5 because of the errors on Kyle Tucker and Gage Workman. So you had to go extra into your bullpen after gassing them up pretty good yesterday. And obviously Nate Pearson's gone right now, and Eli Morgan is hurt, but you had to bring in new guys, and you got to use your high leverage guys, but the high leverage guys did what they did. Ryan Pressly, I'm curious if he's winning back the trust of Cubs fans very quickly just off his last 2 outings. He's been phenomenal. Like, this was what he is supposed to be. This is what he was 2 years ago for the Houston Astros. So great performance from Ryan Pressly in this situation. One that, like, this is frankly where I trust Ryan Pressly the least, actually, is in a non-save situation. It seems to be something with his mindset. That's part of the reason why I thought he struggled last year in the 8th inning, was that he just seemed to want to have the ball in the bottom of the 9th, the top of the 9th, with a lead with nobody on base. But he does it in the 9th inning to get this game into extra innings. So kudos to Thielbar and Pressly and Hodge for getting the Cubs there. And of course, Nico Hoerner hits the triple, was moving out there. And look, could the Cubs have been more aggressive on the pop out from Crow-Armstrong and sent Nico? Yes, I think you could have. To be honest, I don't think Jason Hayward's arm is what it was when he played at Wrigley Field. So I probably would have run Nico there and just taken a flyer, knowing the lineup that you're facing. I would have been fine with, you know, the Cubs being a little extra aggressive there, and they don't. And then you get 2 strikeouts after that. Both Miguel Amaya and John Birdie are just swinging at pitches that are so far outside the zone, it's not even funny. But it doesn't matter, because then again, the bullpen does their job today. So let's get to, before we get to anything else, let's get to our Locked On Player of the Game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I'm going to go Locked On Player of the Game. I guess I have to go Nico here, just because he got the RBI. But to be honest, I'm just going to give it to 4 guys. I'm going to give it to Nico, to Hodge, to Thielbar, to Pressly. They all deserve it in this one. There's really not one guy I would say there that deserves it amongst the rest. Thielbar gets his 5th career save in this game. So again, knowing that Tatis is coming up there, I do like the strategy too from the Cubs. On a quick side note, I like the fact that you go after him for the first 2 pitches. They're both their balls, and then it's like, all right, you just give him the base. Like that's fine. Like no reason to have your pitcher press in that situation with Tatis there. And obviously the concern at that point was going to be, is he going to steal second? But you get the guy out on the next pitch, and it doesn't matter at that point. The game is over. So some of the other things that happened in this game, Kyle Tucker continued his hit streak. Let's talk about Shota here before we get to the lineup. Kyle Tucker and some of the guys that are really struggling, obviously in the lineup right now. We'll kind of talk about the bad stuff in the second part of the show tonight, but we got to talk about the good stuff first. So Shota Imanaga, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run, none earned, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. What I like about this performance from him today is that he wasn't good. He wasn't great. He wasn't up to his quality. And he still had a very good start for the Cubs. And if it wasn't for that error, you could have pushed him into the 6th inning. If Kyle Tucker catches that on the first pitch, I feel pretty confident that Shota, after yesterday's bullpen disaster, is at least going out there for 1 or 2 outs in the next inning. But he battled in this game, didn't have great control. There did seem something wrong with the pitch comm in this game. Like he seemed to be struggling with it. We saw the Padres pitcher forget it, and the Cubs got a ball out of it. Never seen that one happen before since it's been introduced. And then obviously there was the Presley strike out there where he throws a curveball, it looked like, and Amaya was clearly thinking it was a fastball. Might have got that flipped. But Shota, to battle through not having his best stuff, is very, very important. That's how you know you're an ace on a staff. That's what you need from your guy, is that when he's not at his best, he finds a way to still get it done consistently. And that's what you got from him in this game. Remember, his last outing was only 1 bad outing or 1 bad inning that cost him the game. So kudos to Shota as well for battling through when he clearly did not just have the best control. I can't remember, it was like the 2nd or 3rd inning when he got out of it, and he was very frustrated. You could see him yelling into his mitt. Clearly just felt frustrated with how he was pitching as well. So to get out of the jams that he got in, all very positive. So Shota, Nico, all these guys, very, very positive stuff in this game today. All right, we'll take a break. We'll talk about the bad stuff from this game. You can't ignore it. You can't ignore in victory what you wouldn't in defeat, I would say, for the Cubs in this one. All the guys left on base, the errors. Kind of want to talk about this Kyle Tucker theory that was floated out there on the broadcast today about why he's not playing maybe his best in right field for the Cubs right now. We'll get into all that next year on the Locked On Cubs postcast on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. The NBA playoffs are here. The play-in tournament's happening right now. And FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Right now, the Chicago Bulls are 1-point favorites against the Miami Heat in their playing game tomorrow night in Chicago. Josh Giddey is expected to play in that one. And as we're live here, the Warriors are about to maybe lose to the Memphis Grizzlies as well in their playing game. Don't miss out on all the NBA playoff action. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Today's episode also brought to you by PrizePicks. Basketball and hockey playoffs are heating up, and there's no better way to turn on your sports knowledge than into real rewards with PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy. With PrizePicks, you simply pick more or less on at least 2 player projections, and you're in. You can even combine players across sports, basketball, hockey, baseball, and more for your chance to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Right now, I'm looking at for tomorrow, I'll be paying attention to Kyle Tucker on PrizePicks, to Josh Giddey, maybe do a little Bulls-Cubs mashup for tomorrow with one game being at 3:10 and one game being at 6:30. So that's what I'll be looking at on Wednesday. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Very quick note on what I just said about the Bulls. On the Locked On Sports Chicago YouTube channel, I go live as well after every single Bulls games. So tomorrow night after the play-in tournament, Locked On Sports Chicago, come on, hang out with us. We'll be live after the Bulls and Heat playing game. Let's get back to the Cubs here and their 2-1 victory over the Padres. So let's talk about first everybody left on base. 13 guys left, 14 guys left on base with Nico Hoerner there. I had to do a quick adjustment there. So a lot of guys left on and a lot of really good opportunities that the Cubs did not take advantage of. Now, this is 2 games in a row that you're seeing the Cubs have this problem. Now, this is still, to me, it's very clearly been one of the best offenses in baseball this year. And early on in the season, against the Diamondbacks, you think back to the first game of the year, the domestic opener, the Cubs were great with 2 outs, with getting guys home. But just against the Padres, against this excellent pitching staff, a bullpen that I'm jealous of, very much so, from the Padres right now, the Cubs just couldn't get it done in this game. It didn't matter really who was on the mound for the Padres in the last 2 games of the first 2 games of this series. The Cubs just haven't got guys home, and they've had plenty of opportunities to. The bullpen lost yesterday's game, but the Cubs should have scored a ton more runs. And then just like today, yes, it's 1-0 when Machado hits that home run. There are opportunities all around for that happening. And there are a couple guys that I think they're a little extra guilty right now. Ian Happ, I'm going to put at the top of there. He's your leadoff guy. You expect him to bring guys home. He's not doing that right now. The bottom of the order is getting on base, and he's not doing anything with it at this moment. I know there's a lot of people that want Pete Crow-Armstrong to lead off. I think that's possible. I think they're going to want him to be more consistent before they do that. But the way he's hitting right now, his hit today and going 1 for 4 brought him up to 256, which is a sizable jump from where it was like a week and a half ago. So I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. But Ian Happ's a guy that you have to look at and to say he's not getting it done for the Cubs in the way they are. And then you have Justin Turner, who's clearly going to be hitting in the 3-hole and going to be your DH while Seiya is out. Now, Seiya could be back tomorrow. He could be back Friday. So that will change. But Justin Turner doesn't have to bat third. Like, some managers do this, and I think it's kind of clear that's what the Cubs are doing, is they don't want to move Michael Busch. They don't want to move Kyle Tucker. They don't want to move Ian Happ. Craig Counsell wants to stick his order in the way that it is right now. So since Seiya is out, Justin Turner just bats third. It's not good. He's hitting 156. He's had some good moments this year, but when he's just not an everyday player anymore. And the Cubs know that, but that's what he's being forced into in this role right now. So some of this goes on him, and then Dansby Swanson hitting 177 on the season, 1 for 5 in this game. Yes, he was driven home twice, but he struck out 4 times, and he's really guilty of some of these guys being left on base. So that's another one where they're not moving him, and I don't know how long it goes for Craig Counsell before he does look at lineup changes. Dansby's had some positive moments. He has a couple home runs, 4 home runs this year with the torpedo bat, but he's just not making, barrel the ball contact very often. Just kind of looks lost up there, and it definitely is a huge guilty party for what's going on. And look, it's not all those 3 guys. Like, there are other. Kyle Tucker he has his moments. Everyone in this lineup. Michael Busch has moments. Nearly had another home run in the game tonight, but every time the Cubs had an opportunity, they failed, except for when Nico Hoerner hit the triple in the top of the 10th, and when you got the bunt from Pete Crow-Armstrong that brought in Dansby Swanson. Those are the only runs you get in this game, and they had plenty of opportunities. They could have hung 4 or 5 runs at a minimum on the Padres today. So I'm just curious how long the lineup stays as is. I'm not a big pound the table for everything needs to change immediately. The one guy I look at, to be honest, at the leadoff spot, if it's not Happ, it's Nico. The way Nico Hoerner is playing this year, he to me is like the perfect leadoff man for a team. So that's the change I would make. They probably won't make one soon, but if they're going to consider it, Nico, to me, moving to the top of the lineup to set up Kyle Tucker would be the one that I would go to. Now, speaking of Kyle Tucker, let's talk about what happened there before Manny Machado hit the home run. It was obvious that a home run was coming. I thought the second Kyle Tucker dropped that ball, it was like, oh, Machado's going to go deep here. The count's working. They're battling. And then Gage Workman drops one. I know the error goes on him. I'm not going to give Miguel Amaya a pass on that play. He's the catcher. The ball landed behind home plate. He was lost. He had no idea where that ball is. So I know the error is going on Workman. I think you should give it to both of them, to be honest with you. I just don't know what is happening with Miguel Amaya on that play. I guess he just totally lost it. And I know the ball was way, way up there, but those 2 errors and then Machado hits the home run are just, it felt like it was obvious that he was going to hit a home run there. So I don't know what's going on with the defense. They point out on the broadcast like maybe Kyle Tucker's a little unfamiliar with the guys on his team. I mean, if you do think about it, think about like a second baseman running out there. He's had the same second baseman running out there constantly for his entire career with Jose Altuve and various guys at first base that have been out there. So maybe there is a trust factor with him because he's had a couple moments this year. There was the one at Wrigley, which I know some people disagreed with me about, where he was close to the wall, and I think he would normally make that catch, and that to me looked like unfamiliar surroundings. So I'm going to give him, obviously, a ton of benefit of the doubt. He's one of the best right fielders in baseball. He's an elite defender. He's a Gold Glove winner. These things that are happening with the Cubs right now with him are not going to be problems in the future. Like, he's just not going to be that guy. I'm not going to forget how to play right field just because he's at Wrigley or in other road ballparks versus being in Houston most of the time. So it just was unfortunate, kind of a comedy of errors. And it was definitely going to be a different tone of the show if they would have lost this game and not got that run to tie it and then eventually win it in extras with both those errors happening to the same batter. Again, they mentioned this on the broadcast too. I don't know the last time I've seen something like that happen. 2 errors on one batter before he even gets on base does not happen. So a home run there was bound to happen. But again, the bullpen, after Shota was not able to get into the 6th inning, because I think he would have been if Kyle Tucker makes that play on the first out. I definitely think that Shota's back out there for at least the start of the 6th inning, but your bullpen instead does a phenomenal job getting you through, including guys that just got called up today in Palencia. Merriweather did a good job as well to get 5 innings, from your bullpen. They only gave up 1 hit, the bullpen did. It's one of the best lineups in baseball. They gave up 1 hit after giving up 8 earned runs in yesterday's performance. So a total different environment for the Cubs bullpen in this game. So really good win for the Cubs. Series tied 1-1. Have a chance to win yet another series tomorrow afternoon, 3:10 first pitch. We'll be here live after the game ends. We're here live after every single game after the Cubs game ends. So remember, find me on Twitter at JoeGeorgeRadio. Hit that subscribe button to the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel if you have not done so yet. For myself, also for Matt and Sam for their daily podcast 5 days a week. They'll have something dropping shortly after this show ends as well. Thanks for watching. We will talk to you tomorrow. Peace.